Hello guys, so I wanted to put this video sometime back, almost 2 to 3 months back itself, but got busy with some other work, so I just wanted to give you a kind of my experience and observations from the usage of the M1 MacBook Air, which was released in 2020. So this is not going to be a very technical kind of a review. There are very good people who have posted those technical reviews with all the benchmark comparisons and all. So I'm not going into the technical details, but as a user experience, as a normal user, right, who is using the documentation, emailing and a little bit of Final Cut Pro video editings and such kind of things, so the normal usage plus the Final Cut Pro, how this laptop I experienced, so that's what I wanted to share with you. So first thing that was very impressed was the battery power, which the Apple claims to be like up to 16 hours of battery power for a normal usage actually. And I have actually checked that with normal usage, I have generally checked that it is coming to be like almost like 16 hours, 15 to 16 hours or so. But if I'm using a Google Meet or some kind of a video conferencing and with a lot of videos and and the audio multimedia, right? So then the system is around like I get like around 10 to 12 hours. So I had this one of the day-long meet which we had in office, and I was noting down the battery charge actually. So I would be putting that at the end of the video, how that statistics was there, and it was coming to be like almost like 12 hours, 13 hours of usage. So it's reasonable. It's reasonable. So when you go to office, you don't have to mostly go with a charge and a charger, and you don't have to be like feeling like anxious or whether this charge will be resting on us until the day goes off, right? So you don't have to worry about those things. You can just go with your laptop, and then you can be in mobile also, and you can use this laptop. So that is the best part that I got from this laptop actually. So I don't use this generally for office laptop. Office laptop is a MacBook Pro, which is a 2012 model, but this one is generally for personal use. I have bought on my own, and this is being used by my wife also and myself, and we do share this laptop. But since the office laptop was not good and like some hard drive issues are there, which I'm trying to sort it out, I was using this laptop for a few days in my office, and it was very peaceful actually. I've also like the sound is awesome actually, and the microphone which I have used for my Google Meet meeting with the office people and all, it was very good. So there was no disturbances, nothing. And the trackpad is very smooth, very responsive, much better than what I have in the MacBook Pro 2012 model or 2014 MacBook Air that I have. So much better. But the keyboard, maybe I'm still not got used to it perfectly. So the base, right? So when you put your thumbs down and type, right? So that's not very comfortable for me, because I'm used to that MacBook Air 2014 and MacBook Pro, which is slightly longer. So even for my smaller hands, it's I'm feeling a little bit discomfort, but it's okay. So I think I will get used to that. So other than that, there is not much of an issue. So with the Final Cut Pro fully being used with multiple logins, multiple users logged in, I was saying that it is giving like 6 to 8 hours of usage of the battery. So it is drastically coming down if we use the Final Cut Pro. So of course, it's a very intensive video editing app. So it is going to be extensive on the battery actually, right? So that is good. So there was one incident which happened right after I bought this system, like maybe within a week time or so. Like my wife was using the Final Cut Pro, and she was using without any external hard drives. So this is a very base laptop, you know, right? M1 MacBook base laptop, right? So it is having only 256 GB of space. So if you're using the Final Cut Pro, 256 GB may not be enough, even for a video of like 10 GB or 50 GB. Final Cut Pro uses a lot of your hard disk space actually to store intermediate files. So it will take your spaces like anything actually. So what happened was my wife started editing. So we were not knowing all these things when we started using the Final Cut Pro. So she was using the internal hard drive for all the purposes, and suddenly the system started lagging, and it was dragging, and it was not responsive, and even the heat produced was so much. And generally we generally use even with Final Cut Pro, you won't see the hotness in the laptop actually, right? So but this was like quite abnormal for us. And then she came to me, and then I was checking the laptop. Then I found out that it has run out of hard drive space, right? So once the laptop runs out of the hard drive space, even if it is one of the best computers, it will suffer these kind of very crazy kind of behaviors, right? So then I found out this is what is happening, and so we should not use the internal hard drive for all this processing, and we have to have an external hard drive. And actually we bought one external hard drive exclusively for using the Final Cut Pro, and this is the one. So the SanDisk 500 GB SSD. So this was exclusively used for this Final Cut Pro video processing. And so now onwards, so my wife got used to it, and she feels that even with the external hard drive, it works like an internal hard drive. So only thing is, you have to, when you are in mobile, you need to hold both the things and then go. So that's the only thing. But other than that, it's perfectly alright. And I have also started using the Time Machine, so which I generally use for all my official and personal laptops. I generally take backups for every week actually. Like the Time Machine makes this job very comfortable, and for that we bought a very normal HDD, so Western Digital. And so I didn't want to go for SSD because SSD is too costly for me. This is a 1 terabyte hard drive, so which I can generally use it for taking the backups and such kind of things, right? So for backup, generally I use it in the nights, right? So I don't have to go for a very fast hard drives and all. And even with this, I'm able to take the backup in 30 to 60 minutes or so. So totally it takes only that many minutes. And other than that incident which happened within a week's time, there is no incident, any very negative incident that happened actually. It's so completely positive. So like the laptop doesn't become hot at all actually, right? So it's very So the processor is very nice actually, the M1 processor. It's quite snappy and very responsive. The user interface, of course, macOS user interface is very good, but the swiftness with which the apps open and the closes are all like very very gentle and very like fluid, right? So that shows the enormous integrity or what you say, the marriage between the hardware and the software that has happened in this laptop, right? So, and other things which I faced like a bit of a problem was like, so when I was taking the time machine, so one thing that I have to bear was this adapter that I need to buy. Because the normal hard drive, the Western Digital hard drive uses the normal USB port, but I don't have a normal USB port in the laptop. Only the USB-C port is there, so I need to buy this adapter. So I bought this and then I started using it for taking the time machine backups. So yeah, and notice, don't buy from any other third-party adapters actually. So buy only from Apple, because I have seen in the Amazon reviews says that it doesn't work. The third-party things, it doesn't work. So it's always better to go for the original ones, the Apple ones. Okay, and there are few negatives that I have come across. One is the laptop design itself, especially in the bottom, like there is a gap here, right? So you need to be very careful when you are holding that like this, and then you are trying to open it, right? So your finger should not go inside that gap, then you will get hurt actually. So that is one small thing that I found out, which is not very convenient for me. Like, so I need to be very careful whenever I look at this. So it's a very sharp edge also. So you need to be very careful with that actually. So the next thing is I would like to have another USB-C port, but yeah, so we have to have this only 2 USB-C ports which are available. I would always like to have one more, especially when we are doing the Final Cut Pro, such kind of things, because for Final Cut Pro you need to have an external hard drive, and so it's always better to have on the other side, not on the same side. I want to have the USB-C port on the other side, but yeah, so I have to live with only the 2 USB-C ports. That's not very convenient, but it's okay. And the keys in the keyboard are I didn't find that softness which comes with the 2012 MacBook Pro laptops. So these keys are like more what to say? It is soft, but it's not very gentle. I don't know how to say that, but not feeling very convenient with it. But maybe when I get used to it, it would be sounding good. So that's what is a very minor kind of problem. But other than that, it is good actually, right? So you also know that the Apple event happened yesterday, and they have released a new MacBook Pro laptops, which are like higher ends, right? So when you think about the base models, the base model is still the same, right? So for us, for a normal user, M1 MacBook Air should be more than enough for the normal usage, even with the Final Cut Pro kind of video editing, which can be done occasionally, right? So still, even though the new MacBook Pros have come, it's not a competition for the base models. So the base models are still the same, even though it is released in the last year 2020, right? So so that is one thing that you need to keep it in mind actually. So and when you are generally when you are looking at storing the data in the laptop, I would always suggest you to go for a 512 GB version instead of 256 GB version. So if you are 256 GB version, you need to be very judicious in in the usage, in the data usage. You need to be very careful. So it's always better to have small amount of important data in your laptop rather than having all the junks inside one internal hard drive. So all the data which is not regularly used can be converted into a external hard drive, and then you can use it with the 256 GB itself if you are able to manage it. But if you think that it is not possible, then it's always better to go for 512 GB, so that will give much more peacefulness to your mind. This is the speed test. I just wanted to show the read-write speed of the internal hard drive here, and so let's see using the Blackmagic. So you see the write speed here, and this is the read speed. So you can generally see that around 2200 MB per second and 2800 MB per second. So that is coming to like 2 GB and 2.8 GB, which is very good actually, right? So so I could see the this difference when I started using this. July 19th and 20th with Office. So it was a day-long meeting, so I was like bored and started collecting this data actually, right? So if you can see here, so 10 a.m. the meeting started with 100% battery, and then 11 a.m. it went to 96% and 86% like that. So if you go through this data, you can see that after 6 hours and 30 minutes of usage, the battery was left with 37%. So a simple mathematics gives you like 10 hours of 30 minutes if I just want to extrapolate to 100% of usage, right? So that is giving like 10 hours and 30 minutes of battery time. And it's also important to see what were the apps that I was using. So it was having multiple login. I was also logged in. My wife also was logged into the system at the same time. And of course, we were not working at parallelly, but some of the apps were running actually, but not the Final Cut Pro. So I was using a hotspot for my network because I was not having the broadband network on that day. And then I was using Google Meet, so with like almost 20 people in the room, and like almost 4 to 5 videos on, and there were 4 tabs opened in Safari, and there was 1 tab which was opened in Chrome. And I had also opened some of the apps like Notes, Mail, Music, podcast thing and all, right? So all these softwares are open at that point of time. So that will give you a picture of how much of battery usage that you might be able to get when you are doing especially a video conferencing kind of a meeting. So right, so that is what this data is showing you. So so this gives you a picture, like even with the Google Meet presentations, which ran through like almost like 6 hours in the in one of the day, and the other I think it was 4 hours in one day and 2 hours in the next day, like around approximately. So that was giving and then I extrapolated it to like 10 hours to 30 minutes. So so even with the videos conferencing, I was able to get 10 hours 30 minutes, which is very good for this base level laptop. Okay guys, so that's it. So I just wanted to give my observations and my user experience regarding the silicon M1 silicon MacBook Air. So I thought it will be useful. If it is useful, please like this video and then subscribe to my channel. Thank you.